Hello and welcome to LeisureCast. My name is Brian Krogsgaard. Happy to be here this Friday afternoon with you and with my friend. Hello, Josh Olsowich. How's it going?
Good. We're here. We're live. We're now.
We're actually recording on a Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, our time we're supposed to do this show, and we're doing it this time for the first time in a while at that appropriated time. It's good to see
you've
you.
been busy living life. The markets haven't really been that exciting.
Yeah, even today we were like, should we record? The price is in the same place it was last week and the week before, or at least close to it. The major locations of importance have not changed for me, at least. But we were like, you know what? We need to record. There's stuff to talk about. We're here to talk about it. Happy to have the audience here with us. What's on your mind?
Well, we got this. It's just like never-ending data-dependent garbage with data that isn't even useful in a realistic sense. So we've got the debt ceiling, right?
Oh, okay. You mean that kind of data?
Well, that's just separate. That's on top of all the seller stuff, right? Oh. We got the debt ceiling. Great, right? They're dealing with that. They either do or they don't. It's like a nuclear bomb. You can't worry about it because if it goes off, you're dead. So what does it even matter? If we default in a real sense, it's going to get super ugly because not to be a doomer, in 2011 when this happened and they pushed it to the brink, all the credit agencies start degrading or downgrading our credit as a country, and then portfolios have to reallocate the risk, and it's just a mess. So we really don't want that to happen. At the same time, at the end of the day, we're shuffling the deck chairs on that Titanic because we're not realistically dealing with the debt in a way that long term is going to help us. You know,
what you're saying is it creates a problem, even if, like, no matter what, just structurally, there's a problem that is created if they decide to default.
It's
impossible to be absorbed.
Well, it's either tomorrow problem or a problem, a forever problem. You know, like it's a slow.
Yeah,
I hate this analogy, boiling the frog. Yeah. It's a boiling the frog thing, and realistically, like we don't have a plan to figure out our debt situation. We just don't.
I mean,
I'm a Democrat. You're a Democrat. I love social programs. I think we need those. I don't think we need the defense budget we have.
I'm not a registered Democrat.
Whatever. You're effectively a Democrat. You're a what would you call like a religious liberal? Is there a phrase for that?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm fairly independent, but I think I'm a registered Republican because I thought you had to be in Alabama to choose your primary.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. So you vote in Republican primaries, and then you vote however you want to in the general. So yeah, I don't know what I'm called.
But then you've got all these Dems. Gosh. You've got I don't want to turn this into a political show, but just let me rant for a second.
Go for it.
You've got all these Dems who are so anti-crypto for the stupidest reasons that, like, I can't vote for these people. That would be like shooting myself in the head. You know, like it's all I do. It's my life. It's why we're here. They're all like CBDC rah nonsense. And on the other side of the coin, you've got like all Republicans need to do is just be normal, right? But they just can't do it. It's
a lot of Republicans would tell you there's plenty of liberal Democrats that are also not normal.
No, that's fine. But all they need to do to win my vote as a
right? All Republicans would need to do is be
right. Just be normal, but they just can't. They just can't be normal. So I don't know. And they're more pro crypto. They see the downsides of CBDCs. You know, if we're talking about like DeSantis specifically, I'm never going to vote for that guy. I just can't. He's fucking insane. Sorry, but he is pro Bitcoin, anti CBDC. Like, I get it. Anyway, rant over.
Yeah. So I think what's interesting there is there's some politicization lines being created in crypto that are really unfortunate. That's what you and I have talked about for years that we hope doesn't happen. Like, don't politicize something that doesn't need to become partisan. Well, it can be political, but not partisan, right? There should be an angle for Republicans and Democrats and whoever's to come to terms what they believe the role of crypto should be in the world without it becoming very partisan. And now it's becoming quite partisan. So if you're a Democrat and pro crypto, or you just don't like Republicans and you're pro crypto, like the Republicans are kind of leaning in on crypto, on pro crypto stuff.
Well, it just hurts the decentralization, right? Like
and
we have all these
Big Joe's out there saying, "Oh, well, if you're one of these crypto bros, you definitely did not pay your taxes, and we hate you, and we're going to take your money." And it's like, pretty sure I paid my taxes, bro, and I voted for you. Like, I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about this narrative, but it must be polling well amongst the base, because that's what they're doing.
They just have like people at the top in their ear that say like, "Oh, like this is a crypto easy win for the anti-crypto crowd," or something. Like, I just don't get the fascination, because even on the last like big bill, I can't remember what it was, but crypto is also a part of that conversation. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about.
It was the infrastructure bill.
That
was my man in Alabama, Richard Shelby, who's like 100% big banker type. Like he was the chair of the finance committee, or he was I guess Republicans were in minority, so he was the Republican leader of the finance committee and has been forever, and big Wall Street type guy. And he just put the kibosh on the crypto clause, the one that clarified a bunch of stuff and caused problems. That's when Ledger for Senate came about. That's when it, because people were like, "Screw this Alabama guy. We need our Alabama guy." No, thank you. Yeah. So
we got all that nonsense. We got regulatory issues in the US that is just pushing money offshore, businesses offshore, development, innovation, whatever you want to call it. That's a mess. We've got the mining thing. Like, they want to try to tax miners. They want to both kill the industry and then tax miners on a dead industry. Like,
yeah,
pick one, guys. Like,
tax
pick one
on the way out.
Yeah, it's insane. None of it makes sense to me. So yeah, we got debt ceiling. We got PCE, which is a I don't know what to even call it, inflation metric that the Fed pays attention to, come out today. That was slightly up.
Okay.
Which points to the increasing likelihood of a Fed hike on the 14th, which, grand scheme of things, 25 basis points, probably not that big of a deal. Yeah. But it's hard for me to get bullish on a hawkish Fed.
Yeah.
And that hasn't
but my thing is, like, if the moves start becoming 25 points and not 75 with the threat of 100, like, okay, like the market can slowly absorb that. You add enough of them together and then it starts becoming pretty feisty in terms of the way the world works. But, we've talked about that for a while. But when you do it 75 at a time, multiple times in a row, before you know what the effects of the previous 75 were, that was the shock in the economy, like that. And so now if they kind of normalize and maybe they do 25, maybe they don't move, maybe they do 25 a couple times in a row, like hopefully that can start to get things under control. I don't know.
Yeah.
Soft landing. Are we in a soft landing?
For me, it's like they're going to use whichever data point. They're doing it backwards, because they're looking at whatever data point fits their bias, and they're saying, "Oh, okay, right." Like, I get they might say like, "Oh, PCE is our preferred inflation metric. If PCE is going up, we're not going to pause rates." Okay. Look at CPI, look at PPI, look at all these commodity prices. Are we really just going to keep raising? Like, speaking of a landing, like, we're going to hit the ground. Just nose it straight into the ground if we keep raising. Yeah. Inflation's down. It's at 2.86. The next CPI print is on the 13th, the day before the meeting. So it'll be interesting if CPI comes way down. And
mission accomplished.
Well, again, like, what do they want to look at? Do they want to look at everything, or do they want to look at core PCE, right? Like X food and energy. Even looking at the GDP numbers that came out this week, most of the contributing factor to the positive GDP was consumer spending. Is that where we want to be? I don't know. So the TLDR is there's all these like conflicting data points that still end up getting diluted into a hawkish Fed based on their comments.
And meanwhile, here we are, Bitcoin at the 200 week, the 20 week, little consolidation, downward consolidation, flagginess. I don't know quite what you call that on a weekly basis, but not anything to really overly write home about. But I personally also don't really want to get much below about 26K. So I'm kind of at it's a peak trading opportunity, perhaps.
If you're a 200 week enjoyer, which I know you are, then you're like a pig in slop here, because you're like, yes, the 200 week held,
and I will now enjoy it.
And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it's a bit odd we haven't broken down yet. If I'm truly bearish, which I still am, if the head and shoulders is real, which I think it is, if the cloud edge to edge is real, which I think it is, I still like lower, even with the strength of the 200 week.
See, and I kind of like this as a little consolidating flag thing. And it's, how do you think about it? Is it the longer you spend here, the more likely to go up, or the longer you spend here, the more likely to break down?
I think the longer we dilly-dally above the 200 or at the 200 week, the more likely we are to just, that's it,
break up.
You know. But I just don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm like, well, who's buying here? People in the US are scared to death to even send money to an exchange, fiat.
I don't know about that. I might be buying here. Not gonna lie. Pretty interested in owning some.
I'll speak for myself. I don't want my bank to debank me because I'm sending fiat to an exchange, you know?
Yeah, get a better bank, bro.
Well, they haven't said anything since 2013, right? But things have changed. So
are we gonna get the inflation is high, costs are high, we're gonna ban Bitcoin? We're gonna ban Bitcoin like we ban gold. That's actually a fun cyclical narrative, but that's
people are talking about capital controls like that. And you could argue this Operation Choke Point 2.0 thing is like soft capital controls, which I think we've talked about.
Choke Point 2.0, like that.
Not saying it isn't, but I don't know. Look, the money of the world is in the US. So the US needs to be the leader here, and it's not. So, you know, we can be hopeful about Ireland, like what Gemini is doing, or the Dubai, right? Like, we can be hopeful about all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's all about the United States. Sorry, Dubai. Sorry,
it is in the
UK.
Well, then the dollar's still strong, showing that.
And that's the other problem, because the Fed is like, yeah, we're going to keep hiking. DXY is just crazy bullish, bullish.
So Dixie up, S&P flat, but NASDAQ pumping like mad because AI is taking over. There's a new Sam is in the main character role.
I think it's the new narrative. I don't know about, like, the AI thing makes sense. Like, you used ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
And
why do all the main characters got to be named Sam? That's what I'm like.
He's also, I wouldn't say he's on the spectrum, but he's kind of an interesting person. Yeah. You said weird, not me. But
he's strange to listen to, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know why all the main characters are named Sam.
We also have this problem, not to say I'm not part of this problem, but like, we can't just have one job. We got to run multiple of the biggest operations in the world. You got to run ChatGPT and OpenAI stuff and WorldCoin. You got to run Tesla and SpaceX. You know, like, can't be bothered to just do one gigantic thing. Got to have more than one. So, you know, he has no equity in OpenAI, he said, but I'm like, but he definitely got equity in WorldCoin. So he's just scooping up his goodies on the WorldCoin side and acting like it's all for the benefit of the world on the OpenAI side. I'm a skeptic of that kind of. Once again, this is the same. What is that terrible phrase that Sam Bankman SBF always used? The kind of the social welfare capitalism for good.
Effective altruism.
Effective altruism.
Yeah.
This Sam has a bit of an effective altruism vibe without saying effective altruism. And I'm not trying to say, you know, apples and oranges, you know.
You're not trying to say apples and apples.
Apples and apples.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Just stop having main characters. How about that? But nevertheless,
the world
NASDAQ is up. NASDAQ is up, but it's basically following this one thing, which is one of the largest companies in the world just blasting to price exploration, destroying expectations, and what bear market for tech is what you say when you look at this.
Well, do you want some crazy stats? You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Nvidia's jump, that after hours move, was the largest single day market cap gain in history.
Wow.
Behind the second highest was Apple in November 2022. It was $198 billion that they gained, which I think has been widely reported, but I did not know it was the largest jump ever. Short sellers lost a combined $8.1 billion this year.
Wow.
Shorting Nvidia.
Well, I messed up because I made with my Robinhood account, because I became a Zoomer earlier this year. I don't know if you remember. I went all in on Nvidia and I did great, but then I sold. And I would have been doing even better. I'm doing great, but I bought Coinbase at $60 and it's just sat there for being flat. And so I could have done better. Could have done better with my small little Robinhood account, but
Coinbase is not in Nvidia, it turns out.
Coinbase is not in Nvidia, not yet.
I just sent you a tweet on Telegram of this chart that's looking at the S&P 493 versus the top 7 tech names. It's a 43% divergence between Meta, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, Nvidia, and the rest of the S&P 500.
Wow.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nvidia is definitely helping drag things up.
Yeah. Hey, you don't want to be in the long tail right now. That's the answer here. It's the same in crypto, right?
Well, everybody's like, is this late cycle? Is this healthy for the S&P? It's so concentrated? Like, I don't know. It doesn't sound good, right?
The S&P looks pretty good. Looks like it kind of wants to just blast up, doesn't it?
It looks great because of these 7 names.
I know. I'm just saying.
Did you share that? Share it on stream.
Better.
Share it on stream. Share that tweet. People need to know. The good people
need
to know.
I did. I just
okay. Sorry, I wasn't looking.
I had it right here.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Just silly. We're in Yahoo land. In like the price to sales, all the like traditional valuation metrics of Nvidia are just blown out of the water.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it should probably be big. I mean, look at what AI is doing. Like AI had its quantum leap,
I just hope that AI is going to get some of this regulatory heat and get us little, let the crypto people just survive in the background.
What's amazing is AI still is not getting the like destroying the earth credit that crypto got.
It's slowly getting there. I have seen articles about these data centers. Niraj posted a good one.
We talked about this months ago. You and I did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, there's your GPUs over there. People still mad at Ethereum, which is now proof of stake and extremely green at this point. But anyway, whatever.
Well, and these mining data centers could also dabble into AI as well.
Hey, yeah.
ASICs can't because that's a one-way track, but GPUs or whatever else, definitely.
So I remain not bearish. Not saying I don't think prices could go lower, but I remain not bearish. ETH, right back in the range on ETH BTC, the midpoint, just refuses to get it out of the range. Looked a little breakdowny there for a hot minute, and then here it goes, grinding back up. Still burning lots of ETH. The staking balance is back in the hands of the depositors, right?
Inflows are 2 million positive. So
yeah, way more inflows into staking. The withdrawal dumper-rooney.
Well, talk to me when that's at 20 million.
Okay,
it's going to take some time, but I am completely mega bull, stupidly bullish on the next 2 years in crypto. It's just on a week-to-week basis, things could get a little hairy here. But
you're missing the forest. For the trees.
I just told you with the forest. I told you the trees. I told you the leaves. I said the canopy looks great. The sun could not be better. The brightest sun possible.
I better sell at 27K because 24K.
That's not what I said.
which
I
is
said I'd
24
rather buy
We might get
24 than here.
24K
That's all I
before
said.
150K. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Look, we got halving in a year, and a year past halving, cyclically has been the top. So
yeah,
I love now to 2 years from now. Talk about ETH being deflationary. I don't care. Talk about the Bitcoin halving. I don't care. Like it's all great. It's all great.
On a deserted island, you flip the 200 week, the one that's held forever. We went below it. Therefore, you live under it for a while. You flip it, now use it as support. This should be the type of moment we look back on 2 years from now, and we're like, yeah, that was such an obvious end of the bear market and peak inflation FUD or peak whatever regulatory FUD, and Bitcoin's days ahead were looking good from there. Like we should be able to say that a couple of years from now. Also, the boredom is high. The over leveraged 50x roll bit trading is going insane. Like none of these things tend to end well for the people that are micro scalping because they just are trying to find an adrenaline rush inside tiny little weekly candles. This points to the same stuff we've seen over and over again in these cycles, to where taking the long lens and putting your macro bullishness hat on, letting the coin distribution schedule speak for itself. I don't see why I should be very bearish on ETH or BTC here. I feel pretty good about both of them.
Yeah, I think the regulatory issues are maybe more of a headwind for ETH than BTC, but
even then, it's a headwind more for American DeFi, not necessarily worldwide DeFi or worldwide excitement about using ETH as a computation platform, as a network for distributed systems, all those things. ETH is apolitical about.
Sure, but the way it's headed, everything is anti-US. I mean, go to any DEX that isn't like Matcha or I don't know. They're all headed towards geofencing, all of it, all of DeFi. That's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, but ETH will be okay. It's just I was going to be able to use DeFi if you got a US passport. If you're born here.
I wish the political landscape was different. I mean, these guys, all the Trump defenders being the ones that are now pushing pro crypto, just is gross.
Yeah, it's not great either. But you do have RFK, who's a bit of a wackadoodle on his own right.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know.
Look, nobody's perfect, okay?
Do I really have to vote for somebody named Kennedy? Can we just stop it?
I said
Kennedys and Clintons.
Do we not have any other families in these United States?
Bush. Next, it's gonna be whatever the P. Bush, George P. Bush, or whatever his name is. It's gonna be Bush versus Kennedy or something. I mean, Bush versus Kennedy versus Clinton. That'll be your front runners.
Please no.
Yeah. Just stop it. Just stop it. All of them. Get out of here.
Yeah, I agree. So from an NFA DCA perspective, things look great.
Need more acronyms.
If I'm trading this week-to-week basis, I think we could see a little bit of a move down. That's what I think.
That's fine.
But yeah, long term, love it.
Yeah,
love it all. Love it all. The 10K long term.
I think the most bearish crypto thing, supportive of a breakdown, is if you kind of get this Dixie strength rates push up. We don't
want Dixie above 105 for sure.
Yeah. The 10-year looks like it's trying to break up out of a flag type of port formation as well. Looks quite good. Same with the 30-year. Like these look to be hinting at expectations of further rate increases.
Yeah.
So I think if you want to make a bearish argument, that's where you make it. I'm not sure how that plays out, but
yeah, that's why it's hard for me to be bullish in the near term.
I get that.
But yeah, long term, love it. 2 years.
Pro sideways.
Love it.
More sideways. I don't know what I did with my old the 3 years of consolidation for Bitcoin, but feels very reasonable to me. Same with the
I mean, we're not even above the weekly cloud
here.
yet. Like we
Oh,
got
look at
time.
this. Look at this. Look at this. Here it is. More of this. Look at that. Come on. It's like
yeah, but the S&P could break out. Like the S&P could go to 4,300 plus easy, just on the back of those 7 stocks.
yeah,
you
but
know?
that doesn't matter. It's still. I think it'll be bounded by this previous all-time highs type of line.
Sure, but my other question is, at what point does crypto recouple with S&P? Like how decoupled can it stay?
Yeah, I think eventually you'll find speculation to the upside for Bitcoin the same way that you see it in the S&P. I don't think Bitcoin will go into some deep bear while the S&P is pushing boundaries on the upside. Like, I just think there'll be buyers of Bitcoin that like it below 25, 20, especially under 20. Like the S&P is at all-time highs. I don't think you're going to see Bitcoin pushing sub 20K very hard.
Right, exactly. So as lukewarm bearish as I am, there are other people who are like, no, we're going to 16. We're going like, guys, like, I don't know. Yeah, the weekly cloud on S&P looks
look at that.
Phenomenal.
That's
absolutely generationally.
Oh my goodness.
Phenomenal.
Look at this. Look
phenomenal.
at this. Look at this flippy flip.
It looks phenomenal. We even had that since when? Like 1970?
I know. That's why I'm trying to dig into this. Is the
Oh wait, yeah,
literally
what a great vintage that was. Oh wait.
So we are okay. So on a comparative basis, we are currently sitting at the equivalent of October 2009. Bottom end, up only markets forever.
At this point, if you're not allocated, I feel like you're hoping for a debt default because then you'll get that 20% move lower.
Yeah.
It looks crazy good.
It looks crazy good. I don't.
That's another reason why it's hard to be bearish crypto. Some other TA things.
It goes back to maybe October 2010, lagging about a year. This looks great.
Oh, looks on trend. It looks amazing.
You have opportunities to buy reversals from long-term trend down moves. Then you buy the reversals and enjoy life.
So the 2200 weekly BTC.
Yes.
Getting our first bull cross probably this week. This week or next week.
Yes. One of my favorite things of all time is literally Bitcoin is essentially my peak opportunity type chart. 2200 flip, price on the 200, price bouncing off of those. You get confirmation. If in my mind, if this goes above like 230K, I see very little opportunity for that to stop. Like that's when you get to your push to, mid to high 30s. 33K by July, Josh.
You said it, not me. Yeah, if you turn on the weekly cloud, like there's a cloud edge to edge from like 30 to 40, basically.
Oh, baby.
But it depends where we catch the cloud there,
Yeah. Now I could get the smack down here, 31, 32, if you're going cloudish, but I don't know.
So that's the alternative to my bearishness.
Yeah.
In the 40, couple of months. Let's say Q4.
A 42K cloud rangey type of move. That'd be interesting.
Let's be generous and say Q4, 42K, end of year. What's your end of year prediction?
My end of year prediction?
Yeah.
For the finished price, or what was our top? What did we tap into?
When you're counting down to the ball drop, what do you think that price is going to be on Bitcoin?
38.
38. Okay. I'll say 42 just because the cloud's there.
Yeah. I think there's
another thing you could argue is this falling wedge thing on the weekly, but I don't know. The real world stuff is just too much right now for me to be like confident that this is going to go up.
Wait, you mean essentially like we broke out of this long downtrend up only?
No. There's a wedge from like April 10th to present.
Low time frames.
Yeah, you could argue that's a falling wedge too.
Yeah, this is what I was calling some kind of flaggy type formation. I don't really know. I mean, so far it's looked like there's been a lot of demand to buy Bitcoin anywhere near 25K. But these are tricky. I understand that there's a potential for it to work its way down, but I don't know. I'm not that bearish.
Yeah, it's odd that we had all this like crazy 5-10% moves above 27, and then below 27, it's just like doesn't want to break down.
Yeah. If we get some kind of macro type thing that pushes or liquidity becomes a problem because the Dixie goes ham, I get it. I would understand it. It wouldn't feel good, but I don't think like crypto markets are so hot right now. Like just the derivatives are insane and everybody's bullish. I think there's way more people that are checked out,
Yeah, for sure.
People laugh at you if you're in crypto these days. They're not jealous anymore. They're just like, ha ha ha, look at you idiots. That's usually very bullish.
This is a true story. When people ask me what I do, I say I'm a financial analyst.
Oh, dude.
I don't even say.
I say I run a software company.
That's perfect.
And then if they ask me more, I say, oh, it's like financial dashboards and stuff. It's like, I don't want to talk about the NFTs with normal people.
Yeah.
It makes the conversation get a lot longer. I don't even care about being made fun of. I just don't want to talk to them about NFTs. Like, I don't care what their opinion is, whether they think it's the greatest thing or the worst thing. I know they'll have a take, and I don't want their take.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? Just hang in there. The worst thing you could do right now is to get chopped up and do something stupid. Yeah. Not you, but
just four.
The listener.
Four.
The listener.
Four. Just four. I don't even remember what that represents.
I don't know. Just don't lose your shirt over some stupid trade.
Our bear market memes are getting worse and worse every bear market. Like if 4 is the best we've got. I think it's basically like ignore the FUD. Something I don't remember. Something.
Yeah, that worked for SBF, didn't
it? Yeah, I mean, there's really not even that much crypto news. There's a lot of patience in the market, is what I see. So, can price do something that makes people be less patient? I'd be interested for that. I still think the fat part of the tail is probably the best place to be, unless you're really deep in the weeds and paying super close attention to, sector level outperformers. But most stuff I see that people are really winning on is casino type stuff or meme pump and dumps, like Pepe in and out of narratives very quickly.
Flavor of the week type stuff. Yeah.
Right. And that's a hard game to win at. Go for it if you're good at it. But, if you're long-term bullish on ETH BTC, that's a much easier bet to make, place to rest. That's kind of my 2 cents, at least.
Yeah. Like I said, we got halving. We got the best Ponzi-nomics ever created in ETH. Deflationary. Use whatever narrative you want on ETH. If it doesn't outperform, this would be amazing, Brian. Imagine just humor me. Imagine if it doesn't outperform until like after BTC peaks in like 2025 or something, and then it has like this like pity rotation rally, and that moves up to like, I don't know, 0.9 or something, 0.09.
This is Josh's favorite. This is what he wants.
It doesn't have to look like that. Just like sideways, just, make people rethink life, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
All right. We'll leave it there. Opportunity looks pretty good to me. But, who am I? I'm a nobody.
On a long time horizon, I agree.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate you. You can like and subscribe if you want. Press a thumbs up button or something. We'll talk to you next time. Happy days.
Monuments crumble in the blink of
Happy Memorial Day, Patriots.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Easy river has just run dry. In a house of cards, I feel the breeze wound so tight I can barely breathe. Oh, the chains, oh, the chains, oh, the chains, come release me from